It's Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm your host, Denise Salcedo, and today we are chatting about the February 22nd edition of WWE NXT 2.0. 2.0 on February 22nd, 2022. We got the twos going all about here today. But welcome, everybody, to the show. Today's show is pretty, it was all right. We got some good matches in here. We got the debut of Nikita Lyons. We got a phenomenal main event between Tommaso Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler. We got the start of the Women's Dusty Cup tournament and a surprise at the end. So we kind of got a couple of things that went down on tonight's show. However, before we get started, I do want to welcome each and every single person to today's stream. This is the first of the week. I will be here once again tomorrow to chat AEW Dynamite. And on Friday, I will be here to talk Smackdown and AEW Rampage. On top of that, I don't know how many of you guys have been keeping an eye out on this YouTube page or what you guys have been watching, etc. But I have a brand new series here on F4W Online. It's called The Latest with Denise Salcedo. And essentially what I'm doing is daily news videos where I'm just giving you guys the latest on what's going on in wrestling. Really quick videos that cover the top stories that day. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right in there, give you the information. I give a couple of opinions and whatnot. It's pretty fun. I'm really excited about this whole new series because this is something that I had been wanting to do for a long time. And it's a totally different skill set than doing live shows. Live shows, it's you go and that's it, right? But with the latest, I get to create these videos from scratch. I pick out the stories that are on the website and, put them all together, edit the video, shoot it, produce it. So it's a nice little tiny vision of mine. So I'm really excited about it. You guys can check those out, and those will be out 4 times a week on F4W. But now, I already knew we were gonna get these comments. But we got a lot of Nikita Lyons comments here tonight, everybody. I knew it. I knew the second that she came out, I was like, oh yeah, people are definitely gonna be I don't know what the right word is here to use, but they're definitely going to be excited about Nikita Lyons. Keep pointing to K. It's spelled Lyons, but it's actually Lions. So it keeps throwing me off, everybody. Dang it. Anyways, but we got people asking about Level Up on Fridays. I will not be watching Level Up, guys. Unfortunately, I just do not have the time in my schedule or the bandwidth, I think, doing all the shows that I already cover. I think that's good. I've reached my peak, guys. I don't think I could add another show on top of that. And if it's I'm not really all that, too interested right now in Level Up to actually do a post show for it. So as of right now, no, there's going to be no Level Up post show for me, at least. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and continue on. Thank you so much to Rick Zone, who says he missed me on the podcast last night with Sean. Guys, Sean, first of all, is a good friend of mine, and he, just basically told the people I had the day off, and it's not, it's been a rough week, guys. It's been a rough week. There's a lot that I can't really talk about, but just going through personal stuff, and I don't really want to go too much into that, but that's pretty much why I wasn't on the show last night. And yeah, but we're here today, and I'm here today. I'm here today, and we're just gonna keep on going with everything. All right, and someone's asking me if I'm gonna do a post show for the Carmelo Corey show. I'm not doing a post show for the Carmelo Corey show, but I will be watching it, and if anything newsworthy comes out of that, I'll include it into the news videos that I'm doing and whatnot. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and hop into NXT 2.0. Also, friendly reminder, if you are here in this live stream and this is your first time, this is a very interactive show. You'll notice that I'll be pulling out people's comments throughout the night, getting people's opinions and whatnot. You guys here are my co-hosts. So let's get into it. Also, we got our first super chat of the night. Here's the thing, guys. I don't know what you guys are going to send in these super chats. I legitimately have no idea, but you send them in, questions, statements, or comments. I'll read them on the air. This one here is from Cabo Stretch, who says, Nikita is thick, aka Faith J. Yes, Faith Jeffries, who I've talked about on this show before. I've gotten to interview her. As a matter of fact, I interviewed her right after she got signed. Immediately after she got signed with WWE, I'm going to maybe like 5-10 minutes later, I was there at the SummerSlam event where they basically held a 2-day tryout, and they held a 2-day tryout and they hired a bunch of people off of those tryouts, right? Well, Faith was one of them. And so I got to talk to her. She has like a very, very fun personality, and she's going as the well-rounded entertainer. And that pretty much kind of explains who she is, because she is legitimately like well-rounded in the sense that she does like entertainment stuff. She does like singing. She does dancing. She does a lot. And she's also an athlete. And, you know, obviously she's out here wrestling. So she's definitely a very well-rounded person, and she definitely got over with the fans here tonight. She looked great. We'll talk more about her when her actual match comes up. But let's go ahead and jump into the opening segment of NXT. All right, so we got Braun Breaker, who comes out, and he's coming off of this very hot victory where he defeated Santos Escobar last week on the Vengeance Day show. And he's basically coming out to promote the Stand and Deliver show that is taking place WrestleMania weekend on April 2nd. And apparently that show is in the morning. I have no idea. So I'm going to be in Dallas for all of these shows and all of these events. I have no idea if I'm doing Stand and Deliver. Legitimately no idea. Like, I want to do the show, but the timing is very... I don't know. I might be there. I have no idea yet. We'll see. But it's an interesting time slot for the show, that's for sure. Anyway, so he's coming out there. He's promoting the show, and immediately he's interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, who is later on going to be in the main event against Tommaso Ciampa. And he basically just says that, you know what? He respects Braun Breaker. He likes Braun Breaker, but he's not going to make it to Stand and Deliver as champion, and basically says that he is going to be bringing the title with him. But Braun Breaker is basically like, no, get your skinny ass to the ring, etc. And so Dolph Ziggler tries to make fun of him. He even makes fun of the way that he dresses, making fun of his Canadian tuxedo. And Braun Breaker's like, they don't pay me for my style. They don't pay me to get dressed up. They pay me to kick butt. I don't know why, but I laughed at that tremendously. That was pretty hilarious. Dolph Ziggler basically tells him, take the day off. Stay away from ringside. You are banned from my match later on with Tommaso Ciampa, and now we know why he added that. We'll talk more later on about the Tommaso Ciampa, Dolph Ziggler later match. I can't talk anymore, guys. It's been a crazy day. All right, I can't talk. I'm falling apart. Let's see what people are saying here. This is a comment from Joe Torres, who says, Dallas is nuts. GCW is having the biggest weekend ever, too. So this weekend, GCW is having 3 shows out here in LA. They're doing GCW on Friday night, which is Welcome to the Heartbreak. And then they're doing LA Fights on Saturday. And then at night, they're also doing the GCW, The Coldest Winter. So they're doing 3 shows this weekend alone in LA. I'm going to be on both the LA Fight show on Saturday and then also the GCW show, The Coldest Winter, on Saturday night. So it's going to be a good time. But on top of that, for WrestleMania weekend, they have the Collective going on, which is going to be like a bunch of shows, and they've been announcing a lot of those already. One of the ones that I'm definitely going to be at is going to be the Mission Pro Wrestling show. That one's going to be very exciting too, so I cannot wait for that. It's going to be a pretty busy weekend. Everybody is announcing shows left and right. And honestly, I'm not surprised either, because it's like this really honestly feels like the first WrestleMania weekend in a long time where we're actually getting multiple shows running. People are going to the shows, just with everything in regards to the pandemic. Like, the pandemic's not over, right? But, people are kind of, I guess you can say, like, just putting shows out there, and it's happening, guys. Like, things are going. All righty, so let's go ahead and continue on. So we'll talk more later on about Tommaso Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler because they actually had a banger of a match. But let's get into Grayson Waller and LA Knight. So they wrestled each other here today. And if you have been tuning into my NXT post shows, you guys know that this isn't necessarily my favorite feud. This hasn't been the thing that I've been most interested in. I think like the whole restraining order stuff was a little bit silly. It really wasn't interesting, really, but it was surprisingly the best thing that they've done with this story with Grayson Waller and LA Knight. And just, that isn't a very high bar, though. It's not a very high bar. Like, I'm kind of, bending the rules here. I'm trying to make it a little bit more interesting, but this match itself was okay. I think the big issue with this is just that I have no interest in either of this. I haven't had interest in the story since the very beginning, and they haven't managed to like bring me back here. And even though this match was all right, you see Knight literally take down Grayson Waller right away with a clothesline, really nice clothesline right off the bat. They go into the picture-in-picture, and throughout the picture-in-picture, we're seeing LA Knight sort of dominate this match. But once we come back from the picture-in-picture, Grayson Waller is essentially able to get the match back into like his side of things when he tosses LA Knight into the steel steps. He ends up winning this match with the help of Songa. So Songa's his new guy. He's his new, right-hand man. Just watching everything that he does. So he's out there, has Grayson Waller's back, and essentially helps him out with the win. So we now know that this feud between Grayson Waller and LA Knight is just going to continue going. It's going to continue to be a thing. It's going to continue to exist. But I'm thinking they're probably going to do a last man standing match because as LA Knight was exiting off of everything that occurred, he was kind of like yelling out things, and he was like, I'm going to be the last man standing and this and that. And I'm like, all right, so we're doing a last man standing match. Sure. They haven't announced anything. I don't know if that's for sure what's going to happen, but he did sort of allude to that as he exited the building here today. But anyways, let's see what you guys are thinking. How do you guys feel about Grayson Waller, LA Knight? Am I being too hard on this feud, or are you guys enjoying it? Let's see what people are saying here. We got a lot of Cody Rhodes comments. That Cody Rhodes story has been like ever changing. If you want to hear me talk about the Cody story, I really went in depth on that on the Wednesday show. On the Wednesday show is when we really dived into all of that because it, went along with AEW and everything we were discussing there. So let's go ahead and see what people are saying here. Cadillac Carson says, I lost interest in this match, kept checking my phone. We got people saying that today's NXT was pretty good. It was not a bad NXT, guys. Like, it was perfectly fine. We got Walter Johnson who says, LA Knight did great in this match. Drew Scott says WrestleMania 39 main event, Omos versus Songa. Oh God, that would probably be like the worst match ever. Like, legitimately the worst match ever. It just would be. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from this, guys. All right, so this next story or this next segment is kind of one of my favorite things that I saw from today's show. And the reason why I love this so much is we're having the Women's Dusty Cup tournament. That's taking place. That started here today. We got the first two quarterfinal matches that took place here. Now, we've been seeing like all of these, girls try to like find their partners. There's been, there was a whole story with Raquel and Cora Jade and how they sort of came together. And then, we've been seeing Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai and how they came together. So everybody's sort of been coming together in their own unique way. People have been finding friends in odd places. And the most odd one that you can possibly think of is Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. So hands down, I freaking love this so much, guys. I love this so much. I am rooting for Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai, literally based off of this like 30-second interaction that they had here tonight. So As of last week, we already knew that Wendy Chu was wanting to be partners with Dakota Kai. And Dakota Kai, she's been a little bit nuts and she hasn't really been herself. She's been, talking to herself, talking to her imaginary friend or her other personality. I'm not really too sure who she's talking to. So she hasn't really been all there, right? That's the story that they're going with Dakota Kai. Wendy Chu, she's more of the, sleepy, happy kind of gal. And so she asked Dakota Kai to be her partner, but Dakota Kai really couldn't make a decision. So today, Dakota Kai confronts her, wakes her up from her nap, and basically says, you put us in the dusty cup? Like, what the heck? Like, I never said I was going to be your partner. And Wendy Chu was like, calm down. Like, we're going to be friends. Like, she said that she asked Dakota Kai's friend, and her friend said yes. And Dakota Kai's like, who the hell's my friend? Well, Wendy Chu was referring to Dakota Kai's other self, other personality, other imaginary friend. Not sure what to make of this. So this was really cute because afterwards, Wendy Chu's like, everything's going to be great, right? So she walks off and Dakota Kai's like, she picked us. She picked us. And we all know that Dakota Kai has had sort of a rough time making friends. She had the whole history with Raquel Gonzalez, etc. And so things have not necessarily been going the way that she might want, right? At least for Dakota Kai. Okay, so the reason why I'm totally behind this is this reminds me of like a love story, except between two females, two friends, right? You usually see people that go out there and they're trying to find the one, right? And they've had bad luck with the one. So that to me is Dakota Kai. And Wendy Chu is like, no, like we're going to do this. We're going to be partners, etc. So for me, I love this. I'm rooting for them. I want them to be the bestest friends ever. I'm a fan. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. Let's get any comments on this one and let's see what people are saying. This is from Pile Driver Finisher who says Raquel and Cora's montage was better than Kyle O'Reilly's and Von Wagner's. We'll talk about that in just a second here. And this is from we got Nick Ross says Dakota, is she going to be doing a face turn? I have a feeling that she is. I feel like that's the best way to go about it because I feel for the longest time she has sort of been feeling like a face, even though she's not supposed to be. She's been feeling like one, and I think for a good while people have been wanting to root for Dakota Kai, but granted her character has been, on the heel side, so we haven't necessarily been rooting for her. During that whole time period where she was going up against Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT championship, people wanted to see her as NXT champion. So I kind of hope we make her into like this lovable psycho, because that's what she is. She's a psycho right now. She's just not that lovable just yet. So I hope that while she's doing this teaming with Wendy Chu, that they could do this. I think there's a lot of good stuff there. Kay Ballard 27 says she was talking to face Dakota Kai. That's a good one. I like that. Thank you so much to Kay Ballard 27 for sending this in. Alrighty, and speaking of more lovable vignettes, I've been really liking what they're doing with Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. Last week, they essentially had Raquel waking up Cora super early, making her go work out and all of that good stuff. So this week, Cora Jade was the one who initiated this day out adventure where they went to this adventure park and they do all of those, things that adventure parks do, which include climbing and I don't know what they were doing with the barrels on the top, on the wires. I'm not exactly sure what that's all about, but they were doing that. They were doing zip lining. And so Raquel Gonzalez thanks her for really helping her overcome her fear of heights and all of this. I loved it. This was great. I'm a fan of these vignettes that they're doing. It's actually been one of my favorite things that they've incorporated into NXT 2.0. It goes with the new style of which they're doing. So I've been enjoying all of this stuff. At least the ones that they have been doing with Cora and Raquel. Those have been pretty good. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and continue on, everybody. And let's get into the first Dusty Cup match. This is the quarterfinals match between Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai versus Lash Legend and Amari Miller. So during this and throughout the show, we essentially get Toxic Attraction. They now have a Toxic Lounge. So what the Toxic Lounge is they set up this kind of, ripping off the idea or the concept of a VIP lounge at a club. You know, they got the curtains, they got the couches, and the girls are looking like really sexy and really glamorous, and they're laying there on the couch and they're watching the entire show, and it's VIPs only. I liked this. I like the idea. It goes with Toxic Attraction, so I like that they incorporated that. I like it. All right, so they're watching the match from there. So Kaylee Ray and Io take on Lash Legend and Amari Miller. All right, so I was watching this and I started thinking, first of all, was Jesus Christ, I did not realize the size difference between Lash Legend and Io Shirai. I knew Io Shirai was tiny, but then I started thinking, why didn't I know about Lash Legend being so much taller than Io Shirai? Oh, that's right, because this was my first time watching Lash Legend wrestle, period. I couldn't even remember the last time we saw Lash Legend. She was doing those like talk show segments, like kind of like a ripoff of like Wendy Williams and all of that. She was doing that for a bit on NXT, and then they kind of just dropped all of that. And she's been wrestling on 205 Live. You all know I do not watch 205 Live, so I never got to see her wrestle until today. And so that's why I was like, oh, damn. She is so much bigger than Io Shirai. So the size difference kind of threw me for a loop there. But Lash Legend is definitely still very, very green, guys. This was her first match on NXT. Legitimately her first match on NXT, and you know that it was really more of like they don't really have enough tag teams, so they're starting, you know, to pair people up. So they she was put in here because there was probably nobody else to be put in this spot. But given the fact that, you know, they started having her do all of these like these talk show segments, then we stopped seeing her, and then she came out, and this was the match that she had. It's like the progress. It seems to be going a little bit slow in terms of like Lash Legend is still very, very, very green, and you could definitely see it in this match with the little moments that she had in there. And keep in mind, when she was in there with like Io Shirai, somebody that can help her and whatnot. So this was definitely new for me. This match was what you expected. Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai pick up a simple victory, but Lash Legend and Amari Miller didn't necessarily stand out as a tag team here, and there wasn't really much else to add, to be honest. There really wasn't much there. We got Cadillac Carson teasing me. You've never watched 205 Live? You know, it's crazy because sometimes when people find out you don't watch certain shows, sometimes people get upset about that, but nobody's ever gotten upset about me not watching 205 Live, so thank goodness. All right, so we just got people pretty much agreeing with the exact same thing I just said about her, just not, you know, necessarily being too ready just yet. Mike Parker sends in a comment saying they've done a good job with the vignettes for the women's teams. They have. We got fans here of Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. Can't blame you guys. I like their chemistry together. They're two like bad bitches, but in different ways, and I appreciate that. Alrighty, so after this, okay. So after this, we had Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, and basically they're doing this whole Brooks Jensen, the one with no beard, is trying to get a date, okay? He's really awkward. He's not really getting there with the ladies. He's just not cutting it, right? He's too awkward. He can't ask a girl out. We already saw his failed romance with Casey and Kaden and all of that good stuff that they did. Okay, so Josh Briggs is like, we're going to do a dating site. We're going to put you on a dating site, and you're going to record a video introducing yourself. And so we kind of get different inserts throughout the show where he's, you know, putting himself out there and he's trying to be, you know, that guy. And he's just failing at it. He's just failing at it. And I got to tell you, I liked this. I really liked this. It made me like them a lot more. And the reason I say that was because Brooks Jensen is playing the awkward dude. Who doesn't love the awkward dude? I mean, clearly not ladies, but from an outsider's perspective, I like the awkward dude. I'm all for the awkward dude, all right? And so he's going out there, and there's a moment where, first of all, he can't even remember his own name. And I'm thinking that's hilarious because I just barely able to tell you guys apart. Anyways, but there's a moment where he's talking and he's getting so nervous about what he's saying and he's just starting to run on. And Josh Briggs is trying to get him to like be himself and say something appealing on camera. But instead, he starts off by saying, like, I really like girls. I really, really like girls. But I also like boys. And then it gets really awkward because then Josh Briggs is like, what? And then he's like, well, that's not what I meant. I like boys, but I like girls. Well, I had this big crush on so-and-so. And then he starts talking about all of that. I thought that was hilarious. Like, sue me. That was super funny. I like this. He choked and I liked it. All right. Let's see what we got here, guys. Let's get some comments in here and see what people are saying here. Drew Scott says Jensen acting like he's in 2010 doing a video for a dating site. I've never been on a dating site. I don't know if people still do videos for dating sites. I do know how Tinder works because of my friends and because I'm not some, person living underneath a rock. But I know that from what I know, it's just pictures and you just swipe. So I did kind of think it was a little silly that he was having to do a video. But then I started thinking, well, I'm sure there's like professional, like non-Tinder, professional dating sites where you might have to send in a video. I don't know what dating sites are out there. I used to work for Match.com. Fun fact. I used to work for them. I used to be a speed dating host. And let me tell you something. Avoid those. Sorry, Match.com, but avoid those. Telling you now, I used to work there a couple of times. I did several of those speed dating things. And boy, do I have some stories about that. All right, let's go through a couple more. Forbidden King says, I use dating sites. Well, let us know. Do they use videos? Do you have to submit a video? I don't know if you have to submit a video. All right. Chris Cage 2X says, ain't dating sites not free? Asking because I'm still single. Someone says, spill the tea, Denise. Well, I'll give you like quick things that happen, okay? So let me tell you the real life about speed dating and speed dating hosting. These are true stories. One guy showed up with a bloody nose. And he had blood all over, or blood or ketchup. I'm not even too sure. But I think it was dried blood because it was in his nose and it was in his beard too. He was very aggressive. And so I didn't tell him. And I didn't know how to tell him, like, hey, dude, you got all this stuff all over your face. He went to the bathroom. So I figured, okay, he's going to see himself in the bathroom. But he didn't. So he kind of went through the whole night just like that, which was very, very awkward. Then there was a couple that were there for speed dating and people didn't know that they were a couple. So I thought when they came in that they were brother and sister, but they were on a date to speed dating and they were telling people once the speed dating round started, they were telling people like, oh yeah, we're on a date. We do this for fun. So I think they were like swingers or something. I don't know. But I felt bad though, because like there are people there who are genuinely looking to make a connection and like connect with somebody. And there's people that weren't taken seriously. There was another girl who got my attention somehow. And she turns to me and she's just mouthing the words, help me. And so I go and I kind of, intervene a little bit. I'm like, oh, how's everybody doing here? And the girl just tells me like, I can't do this. And she like straight up leaves because it was just terrible experience. Apparently the guy was asking her like, have you had kids? And if so, like, let me know now because I can't date a woman who's already had kids. So that got like very awkward. And then there was the worst one that happened to me. There was a man, a very, very older man, much, much older. He came in and he said, well, what if I already have my eye on somebody? And as he was saying that, he was whispering in my ear, basically telling me he didn't want to do the speed dating because he had already found me. And I was like, bro, I'm the host. I'm part of this speed dating. So anyways, there's some of the stories from speed dating. Sorry. I hope Match.com doesn't come at me and like sues me. I have no idea. But that's just like the experience with that. All right, let's go ahead and continue on, everybody. Let's see where we go. And all right, where the hell was I at? All right, Dante Chen versus Duke Hudson. So I didn't like their last encounter that they had together, both Dante, Chen, and Duke Hudson. It just wasn't believable. Dante Chen's punches were like, it was bad. All right, I already talked about that the last time, so I'm not gonna talk about that again. So because of that, though, I wasn't looking forward to this match whatsoever. I was like, all right, I'm not taking any of these. Like, I'm not taking the Dante Chen Duke Hudson feud seriously. So don't really care for this, right? But once the match started, I gotta tell you, I want to put over Dante Chen over for a second. He looks very passionate about what he does. He was moving in there with a pretty decent speed. He looks like he cares about what he's doing. Like, I don't know why, but you can just tell that he cares about what he's doing. So I appreciated that. And Duke Hudson gets the win. He hits Dante Chen with a big boot and a splash mountain slam and gets the win. And that's that. We'll talk more about Duke Hudson in just a minute. But we got a super chat here. This one is from Mario Morales, who says, just here to acknowledge the boat of wrestling podcast. Thank you so much, Mario. I really, truly appreciate the super chat that you just send in here. I really thank you guys. The Cooch97 says, Denise, you're la mera mera. Never forget that. La reina de speed dating. I was like, there's been times where it's came into like my inbox where I could have the opportunity to do speed dating again. But now that I've said all this stuff on air, I don't think they're going to hire me back, guys. They're going to be like, oh, nah, you buried our product. You buried our product on a live stream and you still want to work for us? Yeah, you pay good. All right. We got a super chat from Cadillac Carson, who says, I must give a super chat for those bizarre speed dating stories. Thank you for sharing, but seriously, keep up the excellent work and all that you do. Thank you so much, Cadillac Carson, for sending in the super chat and being an avid supporter of these podcasts. I thank you for that. Thank you, Cadillac Carson. All right, so from here on, let's go into Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So they're doing a Mellobration because because Carmelo Hayes defeated Cameron Grimes last week. So he's coming in here and talking about how he's the A champion. And this was a pretty good promo. He was cocky. He was confident. I love it. He's got that natural like swag to him. And when he's on the mic, you buy everything that he says. So I like this. But he was interrupted by the very angry RBF, resting bitch face, Pete Dunne, who I love, by the way. So Pete Dunne comes down and he basically says, you haven't beaten me. And since you are the champion, you should be having a match during WrestleMania season. Like, you shouldn't be on the sidelines. And Carmelo Hayes basically tells him, like, I know where you're going with this. But you know what, dude? I can't make everybody famous. I really loved that interaction between Carmelo and Pete Dunne. So Dunne challenges him to a match. They are trying to talk their way out of this. Cameron Grimes comes in from behind and jumps Carmelo. So that's still not over, which I'm totally cool with because Cameron Grimes and Carmelo were really good together last week. And one of the things that I said was that I want to see a series of matches between these guys. So I'm glad that this is still continuing. We come back from commercial break, though, and we do get a match between Trick Williams and Cameron Grimes. Now, here's the thing, too, is that I'm glad that they gave Trick Williams a match here because we haven't been able to really see him wrestle much. He's probably had about 4 matches on NXT, and I believe the first 2 were tag team matches, so you only get to see so much, and I think one of them was a Fatal 4-Way tag team match, too, at that. So we really haven't been able to see him in singles action until today. Personally, I like his personality, so I feel like for me, because I like Trick Williams' personality, I'm a little bit more lenient in terms of like, I'm not so wild about the in-ring work that we've been seeing as of late. Like Carmelo Hayes is still like, a lot better in the ring than Trick Williams. But regardless, I feel like he still has something. And so because of that, like this was not bad whatsoever. He gets by. This was fine. There's a moment during this match, though, where Cameron Grimes goes and hits a crossbody, and he literally gets him, like, right in the freaking head. It did not look good, but Cameron Grimes gets the win. That's pretty much what there is about that. There's not much else to say. Both guys work well together, though. I will say that. Cameron Grimes and Carmelo Hayes, they work well together. We got Zeno Hour says, I'm thinking of a triple threat for the North American title at Stand and Deliver. I wouldn't mind it. Why the hell not? I wouldn't mind it. Thank you so much to Zeno Hour for also setting this in here. This is a comment from Daniel Rodriguez who says, Trick is still green, but he will get better, especially if he wants to maintain his spot. He will be a solid mid-card at least. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't have anything bad to say. He's not at the level of, Carmelo Hayes, but that's fine. Like, he was still perfectly fine in there. And like I said, he has a really good personality and is good on the mic. So for that reason, I feel like I want to root for him a little bit more because he is good on the mic and he has that personality that I personally enjoy. So we'll see more about him in just a hot second. All right, so we got a quick Andre Chase University segment. He's talking about intestinal fortitude. One of his students asked what he's going to do when he's in the ring with Von Wagner, who's a lot larger, and he snaps. We were getting a few of these Andre Chase University segments for a while where he would snap at people. And then lately we haven't been seeing much of those. So we're back with them. It's pretty much the same thing, but when he snaps, it is pretty funny. So it's all right. But now let's get into what everybody wants to talk about here today. Nikita Lyons versus Kayla Inlay. And let me tell you something, guys. If you haven't already, at some point today, for your pleasure, for your entertainment, head on over to WWE NXT's Twitter account and go to that tweet where they were basically talking about Nikita. Go there. Click on the quote retweets. Click on the comments section. You need to see what is going on there. There are a lot of very juicy people on Twitter. Oh, they're there. And they got all of these interesting GIFs, these interesting memes, some of which I'd never seen before. I couldn't believe it. They have the Arthur hand with the stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. Go there. It was what it was. All right, let's talk about the actual match though. All right, first of all, so she's going by the well-rounded entertainer, which I mentioned earlier. I like that. She went in there and honestly, she looked perfectly good. She looked fine. I feel that if she were to go in there and have matches with girls that are a little bit more a little bit better than her in the ring, I think that they can definitely help her, not only get better throughout time, but just really help her put on these really good matches. So based on what I saw with her and Kayla Inlay, who, Kayla Inlay is not, at a certain level just yet. So kind of seeing them two go at it and the fact that she was still able to kind of show what she can do. This match wasn't perfect. It was a little bit clunky, but she still went in there and she showed a lot of positives in the terms of, her going in there. She had a really nice roundhouse kick. I liked that. There was a moment where Kayla gets her with several knees to the midsection. And then afterwards, she gets Kayla with a bunch of knees to the midsection as well. Punches her in the gut. Again, that aggression is what I think kind of got over with me on Nikita Lyons, was her aggression that she brought to the ring. I like that. I really like that. There's a moment where she suplexes her and she goes for she suplexes her, she kicks her, and then she goes in and hits the splits, gets the win during this match. So the way that she won this match was pretty unique. It was entertaining with her just hitting the splits and bam, she gets the win here. Again, it was a little rough, but we really saw shades of what Nikita Lyons could be. And when she's in there with a more experienced girl, I don't think her matches will be half bad and they'll just keep improving from there on there. Yeah, lots of potential for Nikita Lyons, and she's already gotten over with the fans. So good for her. Good for her. All right. This is Kev B who says it should be called the Nikita Lyons post show. All the comments and thirst for her. I don't blame you guys. She's a gorgeous gal. Daniel Rodriguez says, I got out of work and saw her trending, and now I guess why. Yeah. Oh man, but she's a really nice girl though, for real. It's I told you, I got to interview with her. I got to see her personality. She's a very lively person. She's got a personality. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of people that I talk to that are kind of these are the words that I'm saying. Here are the words that I'm saying. That's not who she is. When I was talking to her, she was fun. She was exciting. So we'll see where she goes from here on out. Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue on here. So after this, we got a super chat from Heidi Ho 77. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho, who says Nikita is green but has a good look. Hope she's on my TV weekly. I hope she's on all our TVs weekly. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho 77 for sending in this super chat. All right, guys, let's continue on here. So we got a very steamy segment. So while you guys were all fanboying over Nikita Lyons, I had my moment here. Yeah, that's right. I got my moment here too. We got a very steamy, very seductive segment with Duke Hudson. Woo! Who would have thought? Duke Hudson. He came in here and he was like every guy on every romance novels. You know the cover. You guys have seen those romance novels covers where they come in and they're all, very, very like macho. He grabs the gal and just kisses her. He grabs Persia and just kisses her and lays one in there. Very passionate. I was like, wow, Duke Hudson. Didn't know you had it in you, but damn, I was impressed. That was a good kiss. So anyways, he nails one on Persia Parada. And Indy Hartwell is like, ugh, right? So she's all grossed out by it. And he basically tells her like, what? You used to enjoy this and you could still enjoy this. Kind of telling her like she can still have some, right? And so Indy's kind of like, no, dude, like I'm not interested, right? But that's not what Dexter Lumis saw. We the camera pans to the left and Dexter Lumis is there watching. And he literally goes from this where he's just sitting there. Just standing there like serious. And then he just puts his head down all sad and depressed. Poor Dexter Lumis, his girl getting hit on by Duke Hudson, the man that could be on every Nicholas Sparks movie. That's it. Alrighty, guys. Thoughts on this? This is the very new NXT. We're seeing a very steamy NXT. Tony says, so when are you going to have an exclusive interview with Duke Hudson? I would love to ask. Well, I'm not going to ask him about that. I would never ask him about that. That'd be terribly embarrassing. So how'd you feel doing that kiss? Did you like it? There's nothing good that can come out of that. Nothing good that can come out of it. All right, guys. Daniel Rodriguez says Duke Hudson gives him Chris Masters vibes. So I'll tell you this. Low key, guys. All right. Because I'm just revealing everything here today. Like I'm just like no filter revealing everything. So Chris Masters, back in the day, I think I was in 7th, 8th grade. I'm not going to lie to everybody. Chris Masters was literally my crush. He was my crush. 7th, 8th grade, I was in love with Chris Masters. And let me tell you something. There was this kid in school. I won't say his name, but there was a kid in school. And I thought in my brain, I was like, he looks like Chris Masters. No, he didn't. But then and there, I thought he looked like Chris Masters. So I fell in love with the kid. And that was my 8th grade crush. My 8th grade crush that looked like Chris Masters gave me my first kiss. I'll never forget it. So every time I think of Chris Masters, I think of that. Just dropping L's here. Just dropping so much news for you guys here. Anyways, so I don't know how that went off the rails, but anyways, very passionate kiss by Duke Hudson. Thumbs up, bro. Thumbs up. All right. The Cooch 97 says, so this felt like the dating game show with Denise tonight. I would love to do a dating game show. That would be amazing. I would love to host one of those. I really would. All right, let's continue on, guys. Before I do, friendly reminder, though, I will be here tomorrow night to talk about AEW Dynamite. Friday, I will be back to talk about Smackdown and Rampage, and we don't talk too much about dating there. But this is Tuesday's NXT. Things are different on this show. But let's get into this, because afterwards we got something I did not like on today's show. I was not a fan of this. So this was the Creed brothers getting their Dusty Cup trophy. That's not the part that I wasn't a fan of. Good for them. They won the tournament. They were my picks. So yay, thumbs up. I'm a fan of them. But they were interrupted by Walter and Imperium. Now, I'm very struggling with this, guys. I'm struggling with this because I'm constantly putting out match announcements and, things on Twitter of what people said on the show and all of that good stuff. I don't know what to do when it comes to Walter. I legitimately don't know if I should put Walter or if I should put Gunther. I've been putting Gunther because I'm like, okay, well, that's his name on WWE, right? Regardless. But then people are like, it's Walter, Denise. And I'm like, damn, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to please people here. But anyways, so he comes out and immediately everybody in the CWC is chanting Walter. And I really hate this because I said this last week, but when you're out there and you're chanting Walter, it really makes him look dumb. Like he's just standing there having to like no sell it and pretend he doesn't hear it. It really sucks that this happened because it really just ruined so much of what Walter was. So we already have the whole name thing, right? That whole thing's going. Last week, I was saying that it wasn't believable for me to see Solo Sikoa come out and challenge Walter. You guys already know that. I said that last week. So then, today, we essentially have, okay, so they come out, Walter and Imperium. They're out there. All right. They're talking about how Walter's basically saying the titles are going to remain with Imperium. And he ends up getting frustrated at Malcolm Bivens. And he's about to like chop the living crap out of Malcolm Bivens, okay? He pulls him to the corner. He's about to chop him, and Solo Sikoa comes out and lays out Walter. I'm sorry, but that is not believable to me. It is not believable to me. They are killing the mystique and the aura of Walter, and I don't like it, and I will not stand for it. I'm not a fan of this, guys. We're going to be seeing Solo Sikoa versus Gunther next week, but damn, I'm just not a fan of how silly they're making Walter look. You take away the name, you take away the man's pride by doing that, and now he's getting beat down by Solo Sikoa, who his only big win is against Boa. You see my point here? You see where I'm getting at, or where I'm trying to get at? I don't know what to do. Although, so we are getting Solo Sikoa versus Gunther next week. And kudos to Malcolm Bivens, who I love, by the way, for selling the hell out of that. He had some great facial expressions on there. And let's see what we got here, guys. Let's see what people are saying. Yes, we know Walter was definitely a better name than Gunther. But man, decisions were made, and now we just have to roll with it. There's nothing we can do, guys. Chris Cage 2X says, I agree. I just want to see the devastating chop. I like Malcolm Bivens way too much to see him get chopped by Walter. He doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve it. All right, moving on from this. After the Creed brothers and this whole thing went down, we got another Dusty Cup quarterfinals match. We got Kaden and Casey versus Evie, Nile, and I didn't write down the other person's name. Lovely stuff. All right. So anyways, this was a quick match, guys. There's only so much to say here. Casey and Kaden, they got new gear. They got a new entrance. They are looking good. Casey gets the win. She hits the 450 splash. They continue on in the tournament. So they're moving on. There's nothing else really much to say about this. There is one thing actually, and this was during commentary. So Wade Barrett is, so he's basically asked to give advice to freaking Brooks Jensen, right? To give him advice on dating. Like, what advice would he give to him, right? Because he's having a hard time dating. This is what they were discussing on commentary. And so he says, I recommend that guys, that they buy their girls a lot of gifts. I recommend that they like all their pictures on Instagram and that they subscribe to their OnlyFans page if they have one. So here's my question. This is what I was thinking about during this. And I hate this because my brain started going in a different direction as I was watching this match. When Wade Barrett said that if your girlfriend is on OnlyFans, you should just subscribe to her page. But then I started thinking, like, if your girlfriend is on OnlyFans, why would you subscribe to her page, though? You already see everything, right? I don't know. Like, I was just thinking, if I was a dude and my girlfriend was on OnlyFans, would I subscribe to her OnlyFans page? Like, yeah, to be supportive, right? Maybe to see what she's posting up there. I don't know. But at the same time, I was like, nah, because I don't have to subscribe to the OnlyFans page. So that's the question that I was thinking about during this. Do you or do you not subscribe to your girlfriend's OnlyFans page? And this goes for girls too. Like, if your guy's on OnlyFans, do you subscribe to his page? I don't know. I don't have the answers here. Marvin says Denise is speaking facts. This is just like, if you bring this up, I'm going to think about it, guys. I'm legitimately going to think about it and wonder if you do or if you don't. I don't know. And thank you, guys. Ivy Nile teamed up with Tatum Paxley. Thank you very much, guys. Let's move on, guys. Let's move on. Alrighty, and we're moving into some of the matches that were announced for next week's show. We're going to have the continuation of the Dusty Cup, the Women's Dusty Cup. That's going to continue as well. We also are going to be getting Gunther versus Solo Sikoa. That's happening. We're getting Von Wagner versus Andre Chase. That was also added. And we are also getting a match that I'm looking forward to, and this is the NXT North American Championship match between Carmelo Hayes and Pete Dunne. That is going to be a good match, and I am very much looking forward to it. But now, okay, this is... King of Diamonds 101 says, who do you think takes the pictures for the OnlyFans? Well, I don't think so, because a lot of the people that go on OnlyFans, they have really nice photos. So I think unless your person is a photographer, I think it's a professional photographer taking the photos. I don't think it's like the dudes or the dudettes taking the photos. Like, I would go and say that it's a professional photographer. All right, let's continue on. All right, so we got Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa in the main event. And the one thing that I want to say about this, first and foremost, is that Tommaso Ciampa, Jesus Christ, he deserves so much more. And I have been saying this nonstop over and over. He deserves so much more in the sense that he is so damn good. And we saw that here tonight. I mean, we see it every time that he's in the ring, no matter if he's in a tag team match, if he's in a big deal match, or in a match that doesn't mean anything, puts on a hell of a match. But today, it kind of felt just a tad bit differently to me. And I say that because when he was in there, I don't know what it was, man, but he was fired up. He has this aggression that he always has to him, but kind of like 10 times more than he normally does. So as I'm watching this, I'm really seeing how hungry Tommaso Ciampa is for these like big deal matches. Like, he is hungry for good wrestling and for having competitive matches. Like, that's like, you can tell right then and there, like, that's the wrestler that he wants to be. He wants to go out there and have these big deal matches, and he wants to kick ass, and he wants to put on these awesome matches, right? Dude, you can see it so much during this match. I just like, you could see it. There were so many great moments in this. You have Ciampa literally clotheslining the hell out of Ziggler. That was very enjoyable to see. We see Ciampa essentially stomp the hell out of Dolph Ziggler. He's just stomping on him. Dolph Ziggler immediately hits him with a drop kick right as soon as he gets back up. That was impressive. We see Ciampa hit a power bomb on Dolph. The energy is very, very high in this. We see Ciampa hit him with a knee, goes for the pin, but Dolph Ziggler gets his foot on the ropes. Afterwards, we see Dolph hit the zigzag on the outside of the ring. We then see them go to the ring apron, and we see Ciampa chop Dolph Ziggler. Then we see him hit the air raid crash on the ring apron. That was pretty good too. And then out of nowhere, the cameraman hits Ciampa with the little camera. And I'm like, who the hell is this? I swear to God, I don't know why, but I didn't think of Robert Roode. He wasn't in my brain. Like, he was not there. And I was like, why does this cameraman look like Sammy Guevara? Don't ask me why, but with the hat and the hoodie and the mask and all whatever else he was wearing to cover himself up, I swear to God, I saw Sammy Guevara and I was like, what is this? I know it's not Sammy Guevara, but he looks like Sammy Guevara. So anyways, that was just something that I was thinking about, but it ended up being Robert Roode. He takes off the hoodie and he's like, huh, I'm here. And so he ends up helping out Dolph Ziggler get the win during this match. So now Robert Roode is looking to be part of NXT as well. Hopefully he is. I think that we need all the help that we can get down here in NXT. So I don't mind him being on the show. And also we have Braun Breaker, who then challenges them to a tag team match because Braun Breaker comes out to have Tommaso Ciampa's back. So we might be getting Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker against the Dirty Dogs or the Dirty D-Wags. The Dirty D-Wags. Alrighty, guys, there we go. That was NXT 2.0. Send in your last and final thoughts. I will get some comments out here, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. I'll be back here tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. We got a pretty loaded show as well, so there's lots to talk about there. And let's see what people are saying here. This is a comment from M. Durrett, who says Tommaso needs to be on the main roster at this point. He could be having great matches if they would let him. And I have to agree with Joe here, who says that Champa is just so good. Tommaso Ciampa is actually legitimately one of my favorite current wrestlers. So I am very, very, I just want him to do good stuff, man. I just want to see, like, you can tell he's just got so much fire in there, and you see it. You see it all the time. Again, with whatever it is that he's doing, he's got it, guys. Kyle Skull 27 says he does deserve better. I wonder if he'll go to AEW or the Indies. Look, if he were to go the indie route, like, he would make so much money. But then again, with the Forbidden Door, like, you can go and do multiple things. I would love to see him back, on the end. If he's not going to be, let's just say he's not going to be going to the main roster, or, if maybe he doesn't want to resign with NXT. We don't know, right? We just don't know. But I would love to see him, go back into the indie scene and just, like, kick ass and kill people. There's a lot. But anyways, that's a topic for a whole other time, guys. Alrighty, everyone. That was the show. That was NXT 2.0. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter and/or on Instagram @_Denise Salcedo. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. Bye, everyone.